Do you want to read the story?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay. If you would.
I can read stories.
Alright, but you gotta make it sound professional.
The tale of skill.
That sounds good. Alright.
Welcome to the
Golden Boys
Podcast.
There's gold in them nar hills. There's gold in them nar hills. I'm off for California, for there's gold in them nar hills.
Welcome to the first episode of the Golden Boys Podcast. The premiere on the market podcast where we talk about lost treasure and legends and mystery behind the greatest treasures of the world. I'm your host, Matt, and staring right across from me is my co-host, Richard.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Alright, so today on our first episode, we had a few episodes before this where we just got too drunk and we could not continue.
Too drunk.
Professional.
You know.
Alright, so today we're talking about the Skeleton Canyon treasure, which is a treasure right here in Arizona, believe it or not. So, the Skeleton Canyon treasure, alternatively known as the Monterey Loot, is the name given to an elusive and mysterious lost treasure hidden somewhere in southeastern Arizona. The treasure, like most lost treasures, has sparked multiple fantastic stories that have morphed and mutated so much over time that it is virtually impossible to distinguish fact from fiction. Though there are multiple iterations of the treasure's conception, many details stay constant. The treasure itself is reportedly worth anywhere from $2 million all the way up to $8 million.
Is that one of the consistencies?
Yes. That it's worth anywhere from those two things.
Anywhere from 2 to 8.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
So, the consistent part of the treasure is that there are around 40 gold bars, a cigar box overflowing with diamonds, and other knickknacks and artifacts plundered by the Curly Bill Brocious gang in the late 1800s. So, the tale of the treasure is going to be read by my co-host, Richard,
Hi.
who has the golden voice.
Golden.
All right, begin.
Let's say it's less golden than you described it, but all right. The tale of the Skeleton Canyon treasure begins in the wild and reckless frontier of the town Galeyville, Arizona. You wouldn't know it by looking at the unassuming ghost town that Galeyville has become today, but the abandoned streets of Galeyville used to be filled with no-tooth, 10-gallon, hat-wearing, sister-slapping outlaws.
They all slap their sisters.
Did they all, though?
I like to imagine so.
Yeah, me too. The Curly Bill... the Curly Bill... What is that word?
Curly Bill Brocious.
Brocious?
I slapped my sister.
That can't be a real word. The Curly Bill Brocious gang.
I think it's French.
Were they French?
Yeah, it's French for sister slapper.
Alright, I have no way to dispute that. Led by the outlaw king Curly Bill, a.k.a. William Graham, a.k.a. Arizona's most famous outlaw, a.k.a. the man that fucked the sun.
I might have made up the last one. Don't quote me on that.
The gang was responsible for a huge majority of crimes committed around the Arizona territory in the late 1800s.
Stealing shit, killing sisters, slapping sisters, milking cows that don't belong to them.
Milking sisters? Fun fact, Bill, before he was a criminal, was a tax collector. So even when he wasn't a criminal, he was still a crook.
That's a really good joke.
That's debatable. The Curly Bill gang was incredibly good at what they did, and therefore made a shitload of money doing it.
Wait, let me say this part. In other words, they were in the business of killing and stealing. And son, business was a booming.
The main source of the gang's income came from Mexican smugglers that were making their way through the Peloncillo?
Peloncillo. Yes.
Peloncillo.
It means dirty bush.
No, it does not mean dirty bush. It does not. It is sucio something, but it doesn't mean dirty bush.
Are you going to refute my Spanish?
Yeah.
I'm the only Mexican here that I see.
Yeah.
Peloncillo.
God damn it.
Dirty bush.
Peloncillo Mountains. Only to find themselves mugged and murdered at the hands of men with names like Zwing Hunt and Jack McKenzie. Which I gotta say is like the best name ever. Right?
Jack McKenzie. That's a real good name. I picture like a guy with fucking only biceps.
Like
not even
just,
legs.
Like, huge biceps and like an unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, cool.
And a cowboy hat.
Was Hawaii even a thing back then?
I mean, it was a thing, but they didn't know about it.
Oh, yeah.
Hawaiian shirts back then were just like... It was probably just like have you seen those shirts that just have like the western background on it?
Oh, yeah.
Like a sunset and a coyote howling at us.
Oh, yeah. The ones they sell specifically at Walmart only.
Only here. Only here.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true, huh?
Yeah, that's not a thing you can get anywhere else.
Come to Arizona, buy coyote shirts.
I guess also New Mexico. You know. Anyways, Jack McKenzie. Good name. Each robber in these mountains would award the group anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 in gold and silver.
Every single time.
Which is a fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, we're in the wrong business.
Yes.
Every single episode of this podcast has only awarded us exactly $0.
I feel like I should start robbing people in the desert.
Wait, you don't?
No. Do you?
Oh, well, let's keep going.
Alright, off mic, we'll talk about that. One particularly hot day in the middle of the summer, Jim Hughes, after returning from a spying mission in Sonoran, Mexico, returned looking for his best bud, Curly Bill.
Oh, hey y'all, howdy y'all. Y'all happen to seen, Curly Bill anywhere around? Oh, damn it, it's fucking Taco Tuesday, isn't it?
That's his real accent, dude.
It is not his accent, man.
I watched several text articles.
I was like, what, YouTube videos? Those don't work. After searching in all of Bill's favorite hiding spots, it became apparent that Bill was out on some kind of secret errand. I believe, personally, just between me and you listeners, that he was fucking dudes in the
Just fucking slamming ass in the mountains. Hell yeah, Bill.
Secret, if he was fucking ladies in the mountains, he would have said it. He would have got that weird street cred.
Did they have weird street cred back then?
I was gonna say mountain cred. I don't know.
I feel like back in the 1800s, even the women look like men.
That's true. They don't really have a lot of like. He was slaying back in the day. You know, like they never really had that. But if they did have that, they wouldn't be like he was fucking riding pole like crazy.
Oh man,
he was killing it. He was like. They called him the semen collector.
What a fucking hero.
Crazy.
Curly Bill, semen demon.
Anyways, his secret errand of fucking in the mountains that we still know nothing about to this day. We know.
Well, now we know.
We know a lot about it. Hughes had heard talk of an unusually large shipment. You took a lot of unusually large shipments, am I right? Of stolen plunder from Montreal. Hughes heard talk of unusually large shipments of stolen plunder from Monterey that some Mexicans were going to be smuggling through the Skeleton Canyon.
Smuggling their butts.
I like that it's just some Mexicans.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, we don't know that gang. We just know that they were Mexican.
Yeah, they were called the Mexicans.
If there was a gang of Mexicans literally just called the Mexicans, like they were like the state team of smugglers.
Well, what is a country if not a very large gang?
What would be America's, like, number one gang?
The rapists.
I mean, I can't refute that. I would a lot. We've done it to every race and gender we can think of.
Hell yeah, American pastime. Wait, no, let's cut that out. That's bad.
Should you cut it out? It's kind of true.
No, founding fathers didn't.
Thomas goddamn Jefferson, man. Alright, after waiting for Bill to return for a few days, it became apparent that Hughes would have to make an executive decision and take charge of the mission if he wanted to intercept the Monterey Loop. He decided to leave an expedition of his 6 best men, which I gotta say is ridiculous. That's laughing because I brought this up before, but it's like, why not take all your men? Just take all the men. What are the drawbacks?
Every man named James.
No, just all of them. All of them, no matter name. Like, if there's too many men, you're trying to be sneaky, have them wait a mile off.
You don't want to take old Stinky Bill, though. That dude fucking he gives away our position every time.
Have him wait 2 miles off.
Flies flying around him. Sticking his finger in horse's ass.
Stinky area. And then you come up behind him. You stick Bill up front, and like a mob of 35 people come up from behind and just attack them.
Y'all got a nice horse over there.
You're looking at this dude just, I don't know, fucking a donkey or some shit. And you just come up from it doesn't matter.
Oh, this is sexy looking donkey.
I'm just saying, later on, we're going to hear about a part where it would help to have a lot more than 6 people, but whatever. Zwing Hunt, Billy Grounds, Milt Hicks, Jack Mackenzie, and the 2 brothers Ike and Billy Clanton.
Clanton. Oh, that's the inside baseball for you guys.
They have no reference, but we love it. Clanton. The crew then hiked into the desert hellscape known as the Skeleton Canyon and waited as the Mexican smugglers unknowingly walked one by one to their death. Hughes' crew watched carefully from the canyon walls as the convoy of 15 and at least 30 mules carrying the most extravagant riches the men had ever seen.
Fun fact, Whoopi Goldberg actually calls her vagina the Skeleton Canyon. And she's had as many as 30 mules in there also.
I also don't think that's true.
Well, agree to disagree.
Like, you picked a weird person to have that front on. I love Whoopi.
Yeah, she's pretty great. Okay, scratch that. It's Monica Lewinsky. Oh, fuck.
I would have said Helen Hunt.
Tomato.
I love Helen Hunt, too. I love a lot of female actresses.
Skeleton pussy.
Skeleton pussy, did you just say?
Yeah, it's very late.
Skeleton pussy, Matt. Alright. Alright, 30 mules carrying the most extravagant riches the men had ever seen made its way into the mouth of the canyon. God damn it. Once all of the smugglers and mules had made it past the Devil's Kitchen rock formation at the mouth of the canyon, the leader of 15 men raised his hand to signal lunchtime, which was promptly followed by a short siesta.
Hey, Raúl, José, Raimundo, Cortez, Raimundo, José, Raimundo, Joseph, and Kyle. It's time for lunch.
Does siesta really mean nap?
Yeah, siesta means nap. Man, Mexicans love them.
It wasn't a siesta. They just wanted to take a...
No, that's the thing.
Does
in Mexican
break?
I think it's Mexican culture. It might be like a different,
Is it one of those
like
words
Latin American culture?
Interchangeable meaning where it can mean break or nap?
Oh, I guess you could be right about that.
I feel like they meant break and not nap.
Sometimes your tummy gets a little upset and you gotta go to sleep right after you eat. Especially when you're fucking carrying a shitload of treasure.
For the listeners here, I am reading a lovely script that Matthew has written for me, and in parentheses it says siesta or nap in English. And I truly believe that in the context, it would mean break. They weren't like, yo, I know we're in the desert.
Challenging my Spanish right now. My last name is
smuggling
Cortez.
in the desert. Midday in Arizona. We should take a nap in the sun. Like,
All the Raimundos had to take a nap, man. They're getting sleepy.
Fucking ring. Before the Mexican smugglers knew it, the fury of hell itself was brought upon them in a hail of gunfire from the Hughes crew. Remember, there were at least 30 mules in the drove of delinquents, and the thing about mules is, they're easily spooked. Are you doing weird animals?
Yeah, those are mules.
Man, that's not what mules sound like.
Well, what do mules sound like?
They're like, I don't, that was not good.
That sounds horrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying. They're horrifying fucking animals. It's not. They do that. Ew, that's what they do.
Oh, I think those are donkeys.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know what a mule is, because mules are like half donkey, half horses.
I have no idea.
I'm not a mule specialist.
I wish you were.
I think mules speak perfect English, actually. That's what I think of.
Hey guys, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's ditch these Mexicans.
No. You know, they do like Mr. Ed talk. Mr. Ed was them whitewashing mules. They're like, instead of like dirty mules, what if we just do like, he was like a horse. And he had like a sweet ass baritone. And he fucked a human lady.
Oh, did that really happen to Mr.
I
Ed?
think they were like leading towards it. I think he like flirted.
Is that like season 9? Eesh.
To be honest, I've never watched Mr. Ed. It's what I imagine happened. It's probably a bunch of boring ass things and people talking to a horse, but like, what do I know?
That's probably the movie after the 6 seasons.
Can you imagine?
It was just fucking an hour of a horse fucking a
Can you
woman.
imagine if they did a remake of Mr. Ed?
No, that'd be terrifying.
Who do you think would play Mr. Ed?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh my god. I feel like Shaquille O'Neal hasn't acted since Kazam. No, he did Steel after that. But I feel like he would choose to just do his like Kazam voice. He'd be like, I can grant you many wishes.
Wait, did Mr. Ed grant wishes?
No, I don't fucking know. I didn't watch Mr. Ed. It's a bad show. It has a stupid premise. What if a horse could talk?
Come here, little boy. You want to buy some shirts? They're 100% cotton.
You let me out of here, I could run a race real fast. My joints hurt. I'm a giant. I should be put down.
Oh, Shaq can relate to Mr. Ed.
What do you think Shaq's doing right now?
Probably the same thing as us.
You think he's just like sitting on a carpeted floor?
Oh, man, if Shaq had a podcast, is he available? Can we interview him?
He might be.
I feel like he's doing nothing now.
He's playing basketball very often.
Are you sure?
Isn't he part of the Suns?
No.
He was.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I'm like 99%
He was at
sure.
some point part of our city's basketball team.
I don't know about that, maybe.
You know what? Hold on. Matt, cut this out in a bit.
Alright, well, let's check on what Shaq's doing today.
Shaq?
What if they had like a Shaq cam where you could just watch him in his house?
It's just... Shit, he's 7'1"?
I think he was part of the Heat?
Jesus Christ.
Was he part of the Heat? Miami
I
Heat?
don't fucking know, but it literally says jump to Phoenix Suns, Shaq, 2008 to 2009.
Whoa!
That's how fucking far back I am at sports.
I don't know if you could tell this, but we do not watch sports.
We're fucking nerds. Matt is more pacey than I am because my race does not allow me to be as pacey as that. I'm joking. That has beautiful fucking skin.
I spend a lot of time in the sun. I work outside of Home Depot.
You do not.
Yeah, that's not true.
He also has lovely skin.
Cut that out.
He's that dude who wanted the skin.
Michael Jackson?
No, the lotion guy who's like, put the lotion on. Buffalo Bill. Your Buffalo Bill's wet dream is what I was trying to say.
Alright, let's get through this.
I forgot where I was.
The fury of hell
Yep.
itself.
Yep. Even with every Mexican now dead, they still needed to wrangle in the mob of mules. Hughes, being the forward thinker that he is, decided that would be much easier to execute the mules instead of trying to calm them down. And that's really dumb. It's a dumb fucking decision.
Yeah. And fucking Jim Hughes, man.
See any problems with that, listeners? You should. There was only 7 of them. And enough treasure that 30 mules were needed in order to transport it. The riches were then taken from each and every cold dead mule corpse and gathered in the mouth of the canyon. The gang then decided to take the only logical step and bury the treasure right where they collected it, in the Skeleton Canyon, and return to Old Curly Bill with a small amount that they could carry with them.
There's just a huge fucking X of dead bodies.
I mean, if you're looking for this treasure and you find a large amount of corpse in the desert, you're probably in the right spot. You know? I mean, but they just brought the small amount they could carry with them back, and they celebrated the job like they had done it. Upon returning to Gaileyville, Curly Bill was still nowhere to be found. It was at that moment when Jim Hughes decided to go full Ocean's 11 and hatched a plan along with Zwing Hunt and Billy Grounds to double-cross Curly Bill and the rest of their crew. Jim's plan involved him staying in Gaileyville to avoid suspicion, while under cover of night, Hunt and Grounds would ride into Skeleton Canyon and rebury the treasure. So the next night, while everyone was busy with all the hookers and booze they could handle, the two found a Mexican teamster.
Outside of whatever Home Depot was back then.
God damn. Along with a couple of horses and a wagon that was...
I'm not sure what a Teamster is, but when I looked up what it was, it basically said it's like just people for hire.
I feel like it's just like, the Teamster's just like the person that does the work.
Pretty much.
Which is why I feel like Teamsters have unions now and shit. Like,
is that like a racist term now? We just get those fucking Teamsters.
Like Hollywood and shit. Like Teamsters work on like movies and shit.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like,
you're right.
The people who do everything.
Yeah, so they're just people who
just
work.
Like the acting and like, I don't even. They might be like, no, I think like
those
the people
poor
who actually film it or something. But like the mic grips and shit.
Yeah.
Like people who make the sets, not make the sets, set the sets.
I think you're right about that.
Set up food. They make the machine run.
They make everything work, yeah.
So like in this, the Teamsters, like the people who are gonna dig. You know?
That's exactly what happens.
Anyways, they only found one.
Yeah,
like,
just a
they're
single guy.
Oh, we'll just get one guy. Can you imagine?
Well, then they have.
Can you imagine them showing up and there's just like fucking, what did you say? 15 dead fucking Mexicans,
right?
And they're like, oh yeah.
I feel like the Teamsters were used to that kind of shit back then.
Right.
They're just like, I see nothing.
He's just like, no, I'm getting paid for this, whatever. Alright. A Mexican teamster, along with a couple of horses and a wagon that would accompany them on this diabolical errand. The plan went off without a hitch, and once the loot was buried in a different spot that now only the present company would know about, the witnesses were quickly disposed of. First, Teamster got a bullet in the back of the skull. God damn it. I was sort of rooting for him.
Poor Teamster.
Then, just to be safe, the two horses were also... They killed the fucking horses?!
They don't want new horses, man.
Talk!
Well, back then, maybe.
Were they just gonna fucking like walk there from memory or some shit? That's... Oh my god.
You know how horses are with those fucking big hooves and sexy long faces.
So they fucking killed these 2 horses. And then they left directly on... Oh, they left them on top of the treasure?
Yeah.
If you find this treasure, there's 2 dead horses on top of now, what, it's 16?
No, they moved the treasure to a different spot. They took, like, the teamster actually moved the treasure to a different spot.
So if you find a bunch of dead Mexican bones,
yeah,
that's not where the treasure is, but you gotta find where the 2 dead horses and 1 Mexican are.
Yep. And then also the carriage. I think it says right now that the carriage was also burned.
The wagon was then burned and left as a macabre marker and a proverbial X to show them where they needed to dig upon returning. That you remember correctly.
Yeah.
So a carriage, a dead Mexican, and 2 horses. Which,
you could tell Mexican bones because they're all prickly.
I thought you were going to say you could tell Mexican bone because of sombrero. I was like, Matt.
It's just a bone sombrero?
No, it's just a skeleton with a sombrero. Which you didn't say, which just means that my mind went to a stupid racist place. And it was like, obviously this is back in the day, so he was wearing a sombrero to let us know he's Mexican.
That makes sense.
Okay. Because what if he was Cuban, you know?
I don't know if a Cuban would be in Arizona.
No, but if they made like if this was a dramatic reenactment.
I just picture a guy with a fucking Hawaiian shirt.
If it being a dramatic reenactment, they could do this entire scene and it could literally just be like a Hawaiian guy.
Yeah.
He would have a sombrero on, so we would know he was Mexican.
Oh no, brother. Don't shoot me.
No, like, I don't know, get a fucking brown person in there. Just put a fucking sombrero on them.
It's not far off from what Hollywood used to do.
No, yeah, that's exactly what they used to do. Alright. Fearing retaliation, Hunt and Grounds decided to spend a few months in the mountains in the hopes that the heat would have died down by the time they returned. I thought they were from Arizona. Did they not know the heat never stops?
God damn it.
Never fucking stops.
I meant heat as in like...
I know what you meant. I was making a dumb joke.
I liked it.
Nobody really knows where they hid out for those 4 months, but the most common theory is that they stayed in a cave in Skeleton Canyon, which is apparently a stone's throw away from where they hid the treasure. So,
alright.
Yeah, that's the story.
So Skeleton Canyon, it's a pretty fucked up, horrible place that they stayed at.
Is it?
So let me tell you a little bit about it, right? So it's named after the multiple sun-bleached bones of cattle and horses that jut out from between crags and jagged rocks throughout the valley.
Jesus Christ.
Skeleton Canyon is a virtual hellscape.
It sounds like it.
So right now it's located parallel to the I-10 in Douglas, AZ.
Oh, it's in Douglas?
Yeah.
Ew,
it's home to a ton of rattlesnakes and Gila monsters because the way that it's set up is it's basically like it's a canyon, but it has a lot of like greenery. So there's a lot of shadow in there. So of course, all life that's in the desert hangs out in shadows because it's fucking hot as shit out here.
Yeah, we do. We're gross.
So a fun fact is that it's the location of a ton of Native American wars. So among the skeletons of cattle and horses, there's also Native American bones.
And Mexicans. There's like 15 Mexicans.
Yeah. And it's the location of Geronimo's surrender. So that's where he surrendered in Skeleton Canyon.
Really?
Yeah.
Alright, so like even more Native American bones.
There's a lot of Native American bones in Skeleton Canyon.
Killed the shit out of them.
There is a fuck ton of unmarked graves.
It's just like, it's exactly what people picture when they think of the desert.
So, Billy Grounds and Zwing Hunt stayed in Skeleton Canyon, apparently, for a few months. And the only way that we know this is that Billy Grounds wrote a few letters to his sister back in, I think it was like Philadelphia, maybe.
Wait, what did he like? Wait, so did he die in the desert?
No, they came out of there, but while they were staying in there, Billy Grounds...
Did they not take the treasure?
No, they just stayed next to the treasure so they know where it'd be. Well, they know where... they know where it was. Where'd they die?
Yeah,
they haven't died yet.
Maybe they haven't died yet.
We'll get to that.
When did this happen?
I mean, in this story, they haven't died yet.
Okay, I was like, Jesus Christ, are they alive in 2019? Let's go fucking beat them up.
So, Billy Grounds wrote some letters to his sister Maggie, and no one has been able to find these letters, although they are apparently very important because he tells her the location of the treasure, apparently in them. So, I'm not most people. I was able to find a few of these letters.
Where did you find? How do you know they're real letters?
And we are going to read them now.
Did you hunt her down?
Well, this is your part of the letters.
Did you beat up an old lady?
Before you read any of that,
I'm not gonna read any of it.
so Billy Grounds, he's a fresh-faced, tight-bodied, handsome cowboy. He's kind of like a cowboy of Gordon Levitt, I would say.
Is he? I'm gonna look up Billy Grounds. I need to see what he looks like.
And Maggie is a brown-haired, naive, but with an air of mystery. I would say she's more like Rachel McAdams in The Notebook.
Is she fucking real?
I would say so. Alright, so let's get started. He's 19. Billy Grounds is 19. So he's just figuring out...
Is it that one?
Yeah.
That's a young man.
Oh, yeah. He's just...
Jesus Christ.
19-year-olds used to look like they were 40 years old.
He looks like fucking William Taft, man.
Yeah, well, William Taft was, he's something. Alright, so you ready?
Oh, God. Alright.
Let's read these letters.
Who reads first?
You.
Oh.
So he has, I would say, read it with more of like a cowboy accent.
Alright, I can do a cowboy probably, right?
Maybe like the Colonel.
Alright. My dearest Maggie, I am writing you this letter in the hopes that it will find you soonly. For the past several days, I've been hiding in a cave somewhere in the mountains. That can't be what he wrote. Jesus Christ.
I'm just translating.
I cannot tell you exactly where, for reasons that I will be explaining in this letter. My partner Zwing and I have done something off. In self-defense, we ambushed a train of mules and Mexicans that was carrying an exceedingly large hoard of gold and silver that we have hidden near our current location. As I write this letter, I can see the grass is starting to grow back over the place in which we buried it. Anyway, it's getting late and I just wanted someone to know what happened to me just in case I don't make it out of here. We are running low on food and my partner's wing is starting to look like a snack. Both literally and figuratively. He did not fucking write this, man.
This is totally true.
Please write back if you receive this. There is a road nearby and I am hoping to flag down a courier in the morning. With love, William Boucher.
That was his original name, William Boucher. So this is Maggie's response.
Not.
My sweet, sweet brother William, it is so good to know that you are still alive. Mother has been worried about you ever since your face appeared on a milk carton that we got from whatever the olden times version of Walmart is.
God damn it.
I always feared that hump boy would get you into trouble sooner or later. I would, however, like to know more about this treasure haul that you speak of. As you know, I have always had an interest in stuff regarding money. That is the only reason I married my fat, worthless husband. LOL. I hope that you find your way back to us soon with that money. God knows we could use it. TTYL, your sister Maggie.
Alright, let's hear Billy's response to that.
My beautiful baby sister Maggie, I am so glad that you wrote back to me in this trying time. I need you now more than ever. Now that my belly is full of the rattlesnake that I have been feasting on, my heart, like my bed, is still empty. I have been having increasingly confusing feelings about my partner Schwing. We have been spending all of our time together and he is the only person that really gets me. When Zwing is around, I feel as though I'm walking on those soft white things in the sky. Zwing says that they are made out of cotton candy. I know secretly that this is not true, but he just looks so cute when he lies. Well, I guess I should be getting back to cooking. I'm making cactus stew. Zwing says he hates it, but I can tell it's his favorite. With warm regards, William.
Alright, let's hear Maggie's response.
God damn it.
My lovely brother William, I have always loved your cooking, so your partner should be happy to eat it. I wonder if you read my whole letter because you did not answer my question about the treasure. It's not a super big deal, but I am very interested. Have you tried talking to Mr. Hunt about your feelings? I think that you will be pleasantly surprised with what he says. I really hope you could bring some of that money with you when you come back here. The money from my second husband's life insurance policy has run out, and my current husband has fallen ill. The doctors cannot figure out the mysterious illness that has befallen him, but he grows weaker every day. Please remember to at least give me a clue about the treasure, Maggie.
Fucking 2 more pages.
I'm telling you, no one's heard this before.
These are not real, man.
These are totally real.
Little sister Maggie.
Just gets louder every time.
I am so sorry to hear about your husband, Barney. Or was it Bartholomew? You have the worst luck with men. God saw fit to take your first 2 due to mysterious illnesses. I am coming off a lot like Bill Cosby.
Yeah, it's going into Bill Cosby territory.
It's weird, right? Because I wasn't doing that and it just did it. Mysterious illness. God damn it.
Just keep reading.
So I can only hope he does not want this one as well. The good, the only good that ever comes of it is that they love you so goddamn much that they leave all their many earthly possessions to you and you alone. I took your advice about swing and expressed my feelings to him. And well, one thing led to another, and we ended up laying together in the most spectacular fashion. However, when the deed was done, I asked him what our relationship is at that point in time, and he replied by saying, I just really like you as a friend, and I'm not looking for anything serious.
Typical fuckboy.
I do not have a lot of experience in this sort of thing, so I'm hoping that you could come and help me as you have so much and so much experience with your many, many husbands. Your hopeful brother, William.
William, I really need you to tell me where the treasure is hidden. Barney has succumbed to his illness, and the selfish bastard left most of his fortune to his 3 children. Either way, I think that neither you nor Mr. Hunt are truly attracted to each other. The desert has a way of making people thirsty in more ways than one. Our uncle once told me a story about he was in the desert for 1 weekend, only to find himself fornicating with the cactus as though it were his wife. I hope this message finds you before the lawman does, because I'm running low on money, and Mama needs a new mule. Your sister, Maggie.
Alright, you want me to read back what you have written here?
Yeah, the last one.
Alright, there's 2 things. There's one that just says, first of all, bitch, and then scratch out. So,
yeah, I mean, that's the truth. That's the ones that I found.
You know, and then, that's weird that he dedicated an entire letter to that. And then he wrote, Maggie, I am sorry I have not written you in a while. I'm sorry, Matt. That's how it is written.
In all caps, yeah.
Yeah. Alright.
His keyboard is clearly broken.
The reason for that is because we have decided to come out of hiding. It's been 4 months now, and Zwing and I are ready to bring our relationship forward into the real world. He thinks that we are not ready to face the world, but I say the world ain't ready to face us.
Damn, teach it, sister.
This last few months have taught me that I don't need ill-gotten money and riches. All I need is my king, Zwing, and a positive attitude in order to live my life to the fullest. For the first time ever, I feel happy and hopeful for what the world has in store. As for the treasure, well, when I see you face to face in a week or so, I will draw you up a map so you can claim it all for yourself. Thank you for all your advice. Your brother, William.
Billy Grounds was shot dead a few days later during a shootout with the sheriff's posse at Jack Chandler's ranch.
I didn't know that acting. It's just like, he's dead.
It's the momentum, man. I didn't write this stuff. This is how it was made.
You made me be that person. I was so into being.
You did a very good job of it.
And then you were just like, he's dead. He got shot so much.
Billy Cosby Grounds.
I did. I swung into a Cosby thing, which is weird. I don't even do a Cosby impression, and I just like weirdly went into a Cosby.
All right. So
at some point, that dude just started wearing sweaters in that game. That's crazy.
after the shootout, with Grounds dead and Zwing Hunt badly wounded, Hunt was rushed to a hospital in Tombstone to treat his wounds before being put in prison to rot. Jim Hughes, the man who originally made the plan to rebury the treasure, heard news of Hunt's capture and rushed to Tombstone to protect his interest in the treasure. Once Hughes arrived in Tombstone, however, Hunt was gone, along with any chance Hughes had of finding the treasure. The news later came out that Hunt's brother, posing as a driver to a prisoner transport buggy, was able to convince the hospital to surrender Hunt to him. The way Hunt's brother, Hugh, tells the story is that after escaping the hospital, the two were ambushed by Apaches, and Zwing was mortally wounded in the shootout. Legend says that on his deathbed, with only his uncle at his side, Zwing Hunt, with shoulders heavy from carrying the burden of being the sole keeper of location of the most spectacular cache of treasure anyone had ever seen, spoke the following words.
First, go to Davis Mountain, which is a rounded bald granite dome. From the summit, you can see into New Mexico. Then, moving west, descend from Davis Mountain into a canyon. There is a stream. The canyon is heavily rooted on the east wall. The west wall is precipitous with water from a small spring tumbling over the rocks, and nearby is the grave of an unknown outlaw.
I feel like that's just a Mexican teamster that they killed.
I feel like that's sort of respectful that he added him to... He was like, he's unknown. It was like he could have added his name, but he never got to know him that well. He was like, I didn't ask him a lot about himself.
Once it was marked by stones. $500 in gold is buried in a tin can at the head of the grave. From there, go south for a mile and 3/10 to a second spring between the two springs. Hidden in the brush should be the traces of a burned wagon. And if you dig, the bones of the murdered teamster.
Okay, I was wrong.
There was just another dead guy. There was another dead guy, and then I was like, they were weirdly respectful.
There's a lot of dead people around there.
Gold in front of him, but it's like
that was his pay.
Nah, that was some other dude. There's just like a dead Mexican with a burnt carriage, though. That's the X. Like
the canyon curves at this point, and there is a cove in the west wall. In the cove, there is a rock, 3 feet high and shaped like an obelisk. The rock has 2 crosses chiseled into the east face, one above the other. If you've made it to the rock, look directly where you came from, Davis Mountain. Take 20 paces east. You are now standing directly above the treasure. Dig.
Then, with his dying breath, he gave an itemized list of the many treasures he would find there. Finally, as a look of tranquility washed over his face, he was released from the curse he had carried alone for so long, and was courted into oblivion by the sweet embrace of death.
You made that last shit up. He probably fucking shitted himself. Shit. I've seen old people die. Like, they just shit themselves, and it looks uncomfortable, and then they get that peaceful look. You know, it's not a dignified death.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people... So, what the controversy is that a lot of people think that Zwing didn't actually die, and he went back to San Antonio, which is where Maggie was. I was wrong. It wasn't Philadelphia. I don't know why I said that. We've been talking about Philadelphia a lot tonight. I don't know what's up with that.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, you're right.
We were also talking about that.
In West San Antonio, born and raised.
It's a whole different show, and it's so good.
So a lot of people just basically think that like he just said fuck this lifestyle and just left, and that his brother helped him escape. So I think that really the main way to find this treasure for anyone is if you find that fucking stone obelisk that it talks about. Like, it's got to be obvious,
Yeah, I was
right?
going to say, like, when you were describing it, I was like, that is the most, like, it's a stone obelisk 3 feet high.
Yeah, he said it was 3 feet high. Yeah, that's crazy.
3 feet high with 2 X's chiseled into it.
Well, it's 2 crosses, like it's like an actual cross.
A cross is a fucking X. It's just like an X with a long leg. Anyways, the point is, that's a very definitive fucking thing.
I also read a lot of places that the crosses are like wooden. Some people say that they put wood into like nailed it into the rock.
Oh, okay, so like wooden cross in stone.
Some people say that, yeah, but not a lot of people.
All right, wait, quick. How old were what is the time frame? Like what year would this be in?
I think like 1880s.
1880s?
Yeah, it was late.
So that stone would still be fresh, presumably.
Yeah, it would still be there.
Yeah, like it wouldn't be like worn down, just be like a weird, lumpy, long fucking like piece of rock. It would still be a 3 foot tall thing with X's in it.
Absolutely.
Crosses, I guess.
So a lot of people say that they don't think that this treasure is real or they think this treasure is real, but they don't think that it's the amount that it says because
the $2 to $8 million worth.
The experts say that they've looked at like the Monterey, like basically like the news in that time, and they say that Monterey was never sacked, like they were never robbed at that point in time. But
Monterey would say that.
But if you think about it, the dude that came up with it was Jim Hughes, who
couldn't come up with a better name than Jim Hughes.
Well, he might not know Spanish with that name. I'm imagining.
He couldn't make Jim Hughes.
But he overheard it, so he could have very easily misheard. You know, like he could have heard.
It could be like $500. That'd still be dope.
Well, no,
shit.
I'm not saying that it's a different. Like I'm saying that maybe they did take that amount, but it wasn't from Monterey. Like it could have been from anywhere. You know what I mean?
Like Montreal.
It could have been from Montreal.
The Mexicans
for one,
could have came from Montreal.
Montreal was pretty rich at that time.
Also, where did you get that? The you said like the gold bars and the cigar box of diamonds?
That's like when I said that Jim or Zwing Hunt, he made it like an itemized list at the end of his life.
They just kept them in a cigar box, like you made it.
No, not the gold bars. They kept
the
diamonds. Yeah,
the diamonds. Like it's hard to miscalculate how much.
Exactly.
Like that's a fuck ton.
Yeah, that's a shit.
That's so much money. A diamond.
And it's been like said through many people, and even like apparently Zwing Hunt before he died, he told his uncle like he actually drew his uncle a map, and no one's been able to find that map.
He's just I thought it was like he drew a map, but he's like really shitty.
It's just like grand.
Just like, this is me. And there's a stick figure with a cowboy hat. And he's like, and this is you. And there's another one, but he has like a long mustache, and he's just like, dot, 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 and it's all squiggly and like a curvy line. And he's like, the treasure is here. And then he fucking died, and his uncle's like, God damn it.
So, what I believe, after doing all this research,
yes,
is the reason that nobody's found this treasure is because they're looking in the wrong spot.
You don't think they're looking in the Skeleton Canyon?
Zwing Hunt and Billy Grounds never specifically said that they were in Skeleton Canyon. They said that they relocated.
You just called it the Skeleton Canyon treasure!
Well, that's like the accepted story.
Okay.
But Zwing Hunt and Billy Grounds never specifically said that it was there. They just said they hid in a cave near the treasure in a canyon.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Grand Canyon.
You solved it.
I solved it.
So I think I have a good idea of where it could be.
Where is that?
And we will discuss that next week.
Fuck!
When we come back and talk about our theories for where the treasure is.
I'm just gonna shout out right now. I think it's in the Grand Canyon. It's a very unexplored canyon. It's not a well-known canyon outside of Arizona.
Oh man, I can't wait to talk about the Grand Canyon. There's so many fucking lost treasures that are in the Grand Canyon.
There is no treasure in the It's the stupid canyon. It's the not that Grand Canyon.
I'll show you. I'll show you the pictures.
If anyone who is listening to this has never been to the Grand Canyon, I will describe it for you.
It's awesome.
It is a shitty national park, and then you go there, and there's a fucking hole in the floor.
It's filled with treasure and pyramids and aliens.
By a bunch of Native Americans who don't want you to fucking be there.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
And, yeah, that's about it. You feel very uncomfortable. It is very uncomfortable, and you're like, oh, look, there's a giant hole in the floor.
Well, one of the many treasures that I want to go over is actually that news article a long time ago, or I think it was actually a magazine, National Geographic or something.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. It was the Arizona Times.
I wouldn't know.
Anyway, they ran an article that someone from National Geographic came to Arizona, or the Smithsonian, rather.
Okay.
And they came to Arizona, and they found Egyptian remains in the Grand Canyon.
Jesus fucking Christ. No, they didn't.
They really did.
No, they didn't.
I have found the article, and I will show it to you.
What, did it go down in the ocean and across the ocean and then through multiple rivers and then through another, like a sea, and then it came up in the Grand Canyon and then the Grand Canyon dried out? Like what? What?
Y'all know what happened, dog? Hey, dog, y'all know what happened?
Oh, that's stupid. Alright.
But who am I going to take to the prom? Alright. Well,
so is this where we're ending it?
Yeah.
All right.
I guess we'll take off from now. Keep on digging, listeners.
Is that what you're fucking gonna...
Life's a garden. Dig it.
God damn it. Try one more.
Fuck.
Would you say something like, dig it please? Like, why wouldn't you...
Dig it please! That's fucking great. I think only you can say that.
I can say it. You can't. So...
Alright. Bye.
Bye. God.
Der Fürst Globus und mein